warrior with the hands. That's what I'm all about. Hunger in my eyes, vengeance in my mouth. They don't want no altercation. Situation gon' get critical. It's best that you be easy. The end gon' be biblical. Look, flow like a river. It's something like a miracle. Royalty in my veins, loyalty in my ways. Pay back in every breath, plus revenge in my heart. The truth in every word. Bring light into the dark, and I ain't never lukewarm. Shit, I blazing in the season. Got plenty food for thought, just gotta watch who I'm feeding. And I been walking with them angels, so I guess I got this pistol for no reason. Niggas barely breathing, criticizing all my achievements. Won't make me weak, nah, it won't make me slack off. These niggas baby fat soft, better bear witness or back off. I be ripping shit like sackcloth. Dumb dogs all barked out. My hymen say I cup full, no room for emotion, so I pour my heart out. This road hard, but I intend to stay. And if it ain't UPK, then they in the way. My niggas righteous, they real, they down to suffer. Flow so deep, it'll drown a motherfucker. He say he in the truth, oh yeah? Well, this the home. And I don't hate them brothers, I'm just too loyal to my own. Plus what they believe, hard for me to follow. No rank me, no head, and I ain't leaving this body to live and sleep in hollow. So when they ask I'm UPK, you tell them absolutely. And I ain't trimming my ways for nothing, gotta execute me. Cause I can never die with my tail tucked between my legs. Shit I be thinking, watching my daughters tucked in their bed. They so smart, and Alana, she so beautiful, but they ain't like other babies, and they daddy far from usual. Now I'm missing cause I'm about my father's business. It ain't about this shit I used to do in that 98 Navy, the tan leather seats. See, without wisdom, this world make you weak. I found out that the truth was bitter, the lies are sweet. Tried everything, I guess me and Johanna had to meet. Now I make the blind see, and I make the dead speak. And teach both my little girls the day that they lie with a man, they better bring me bloody bed sheets. Chaos match the time, this Glock match my handpiece. And I ain't trying to take him out, but I will defend this house. Or take a check, 144 in that black trench on some hitman shit. Should call me 47. Praying for Armageddon. Me and my soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame. Ask why, tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I want that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king. The devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. That's right. Bring that hot flame, you bitch. Hey, loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I want that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king. The devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. Bring that hot flame, you bitch. Hey, loyal to the king. words out this handed book. About to take these rappers back to school. My flow sanded hook. They crossed the line, ain't no coming back. You became no cowards. The only thing sweet is the honey check. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow. And hand down death for them devils. There's no tomorrow. Why? Cause they violence leave a man a stiff corpse. You see a flag in a badge, I see horns in a pitchfork. Go ahead. So please believe it. The white man is a demon. And I ain't gon' vote for them to free me. No. They beat us till we the color purple. That's why this knife to they throat like ceiling. You got this nigga on his knees. They wanna have peace. We screaming, let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the bosom of revenge. I told her I'd do anything she please as I squeeze on the double D's. Fuck you, man. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies. Ain't die for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Tell them devils that the end is near. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it. With the black on. I can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed. I can't.
Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, underneath Commander General Yohanna. We are not affiliated or associated with any other Israelite group, man. Man, tonight's topic, man, we're going to go into something heavy. You know what I'm saying? You know, next week. Is it next week or is it this week? I think it's this week. Let me check and see this calendar. You know, they got Halloween coming up. Halloween, where everybody dresses like ghouls and goblins and does whatever the heck they want to do. Yeah, Halloween is this Sunday coming up, and a lot of people are gonna partake in this event. They're gonna dress their kids up like monsters and demons and heathens and God knows what, and take their children out to get candy. But what people don't know there is a long history on where this tradition comes from, on which they call Halloween. You know, Halloween wasn't what it was. It's not what it is today. You know, today it's about giving out candy to the children and the children dressing up. But that is not the original place where Halloween started from. I'm gonna get some history and show you where that tradition came from. Get you some history, man. Let's see if I got this thing already pulled up. All right, so let's get some history on where Halloween comes from. Because, you know, a lot of us think Halloween comes from kids just having a day for themselves to have fun and dress up. You know, a lot of us, before we came into this truth as children, we all partook in Halloween. Our mothers and our fathers, you know, would pay to get us the costumes and allow us to dress up as different characters and take us out to go trick-or-treating for candy. You know what I'm saying? And back then as a child, it was fun. It was fun dressing up and getting the candy and partaking in this event and just having fun and being a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all, before we came into this truth as children, were able to partake in this event. You know, Halloween was something that was special to children, little children. They look forward to that every year like they look forward to Christmas. So children are able to dress up as ghouls and goblins and witches and monsters, or even their favorite Marvel character. You know, you got kids dressed up as Wolverine, Batman, Superman, whatever. Any false idol that they want to be, they can be that day. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of our kids partake in it, not even understanding and knowing where that comes from. Well, let me get you some history on it. All right, this is the History Channel right here. This is from thehistory.com. All right, it says Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October the 31st, and Halloween 2021 will occur on Sunday, October the 31st. The tradition originated with the ancient Celtic festival Samhain. Yeah, right. This whole Halloween festival was something that was started by the Celts. The Celts, you know, they were a nation of people that stayed in Ireland back in ancient times. But this was a festival that they kept. You know what I'm saying? All right. It says Halloween originates date back to the ancient Celtic festival Samhain, pronounced Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is known Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer in the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of the year that was often associated with human death. So they would take their time to celebrate what they would call Samhain. Back then, it was a day where summer and the harvest in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? It was the end of the summer and the harvest. It was when, you know, in the summertime, the days are usually longer. You know, you have longer days and you're able to plant more, harvest more, especially in those parts over there in Ireland and France where the summer was. So, you know, this was a good time for them during the summer and the harvest time. They were able to plant, grow vegetables, get everything that they need. The gardens are flourishing. You know, this is something that the Selks did. So this was one of their traditions. And this was celebrated over 2,000 years ago. All right. So they said that this day marked the end of the summer and the harvest, and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of the year that was often associated with human death. It says Celts believe that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. It's in the book bag in the truck. I got the key. It's in that. Yeah, it's in that book bag. And I got a piece up here too. If you need one. You know what I'm saying? So this is what the Celts believe. The Celts believe that. And listen to what I'm telling you now. Listen to this. Listen to what they believed in 2,000 years ago. Okay, and let me and understand this. Think about if this is truly something that happens. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna start to understand more why there's so much myth and crap when it comes to Halloween and any other day, but this is just Halloween. But this is what the Celts believe. This is what they believe. It says Celts believe that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain. They celebrated Samhain, when it believed that the ghost of the dead returned to the earth. So this is what the Celts believe. They believe that on October the 31st, this was the day that the ghost of the dead would return to the earth. This is what they believe. It says, in addition to causing trouble and damaging crops, Celts thought that the presence of the otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Druids or Celtic priests to make predictions about the future. So the Druids were people who were part of the Roman Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? The Druids come from the Roman Catholic Church. Even these Roman Catholic priests believed in this back in ancient times. They also believed that ghosts and ghouls and goblins were real. You know what I'm saying? They believed that this was also real. And they believed that them people their ghosts would come on the earth and start damaging crops. So if you went in your backyard on October the 31st and your crops was damaged, they believed the ghosts did it. When actually it was Bill, the next door neighbor, went in there and damaged your damn crops because he doesn't like you. He hates your guts. But on October the 31st, this is a day for him to unleash his wrath on your crops. You come out there, your crops all plucked up and whatever, and then the first thing you think to yourself, oh no, it was the ghost of my father-in-law who hates me. Yikes, that's what it was. All right, let me go ahead and get back. All right, so like it. All right, it says, for a people entirely dependent on the volatile natural world, these prophecies were an important source of comfort during the long, dark winter. So not only did they believe ghosts and ghouls, not only did they believe ghosts and ghouls and goblins would go in their backyard and kick all their crops up, they also believed in predictions of the future from the so-called Roman Catholic Druids and their Celtic priests. So they was just vulnerable as hell. You know, that right there is also like Christianity, like believing in mythical and all type of stupidity. You know, just like Christians today, what do they believe in? They believe in that snakes can talk. They believe snakes can talk. There were giants. You know what I'm saying? Santa Claus. What's some other stupidity? Cupid with his arrow. God knows what. All of this is stuff that was just myth and stupidity. All right, let me keep going. It says, to commemorate the event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. And that's the whole truth behind it. All of these things they were doing was just paganism, to worship and to make sacrifice to different deities. No different than today with this Halloween. All right, let me keep going. It says, during the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempting to tell each other's fortunes. So now this is where the costumes come from. Like what your children do today with wearing costumes and so-called masks. This comes from an ancient pagan tradition that was done by the Celts, which the Roman Catholic Church and their Druids adopted.
Right.
So what your children are doing today on October the 31st is paganism. It's something that the Most High cannot stand. If we could you get Jeremiah 10:1? We don't have any comments in that, dude. Okay. And this is why the Isupk underneath Commander General Yohana, man, we follow these laws, statutes, and commandments here in the Bible. A lot of people think we're crazy because we do not celebrate Halloween. You gonna take your kids trick-or-treating this year? Brothers and sisters in the school, hell no, nah. We don't celebrate Halloween. You don't let your kids go out there and get candy? Nah, we don't. We don't let our kids do that. Oh, it's a day for the kids. It's a day for the kids to go out there and get free candy. When the people that celebrate it don't even understand that this whole tradition is something that was paganism, man. Like it was just stupidity and myth. Like back then, Halloween was something that was very serious. Like this was a tradition that it's for the kids today, but back then you had adults who believed in this. You had adults who believed that, you know, ghosts were taking their crops from the ground. When in actuality, you were just getting robbed, you know. People coming through taking your crops. Hey, you know, so-and-so got good collard greens over there. You know, October the 31st coming up. That nigga gonna believe that the ghost did it. Let's go take the crops. They go over there and take all your crops. You come back there. It was the ghost of Halloween. It was the ghost of what they called it back then. It was the ghost of Samhain. This ghost of Samhain took my crops and destroyed my crops. Whole time your neighbor over there cooking good collard greens and good cabbage. Cause you just stupid. All right, Salak, let me get back. All right. It says, during the celebration, the Celts wore costumes typically consisting of animal heads and skins and attempting to tell each other's fortune. When the celebration was over, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening, from the sacred bonfire to help protect them during the coming wind. All right, and then we're going to go back into the Roman history where the Romans even did it also. It says, by 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory. So now we're going back to 43 AD when the Romans had conquered the Celtic Empire. You know, this is before this became a tradition upheld by the Druids and by the so-called Celtic priests. This is when the Roman Empire had conquered them and ruled over them. And it's going to tie in how this whole tradition got tied in with different things. All right? They said, slide. It says, in the course of 400 years that they ruled the Celtic lands, two festivals of Roman origin were combined with the traditional Celtic celebration of Samhain. The first was Ferelli, a day in the late October when the Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. The second was the day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and the incorporation of the celebration into Samhain probably explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today in Halloween. Damn. You out there bobbing your head in water for apples. But all of this comes from the Roman Empire, who adopted the traditions of the Celts when they conquered them for 400. And after 400 years of them conquering them, they started to merge their so-called pagan traditions with the Celts traditions. You know what I'm saying? And the first one that they had was Ferelli. It was a day in October where they would celebrate and commemorate the passing of the dead, because the Romans worshiped the dead just like the Egyptians worshiped the dead. And why did the Romans worship the dead? Because they learned it from the Egyptians. And the second thing that they did, they also merged with this to make so-called what we call today Halloween. They took this the Roman goddess of fruit and trees named Pomona, and and they incorporated that also. That's why today, like, a lot of people do that candy apple bobbing thing. You got it up.
If I could, sir, too.
Come.
You know what I'm saying? That bobbing for apples, that's a whole a sexual act.
Yikes.
You understand? If you do the brief history on it, it's like an actual not to get all into detail, but it's an actual sex position. You know what I'm saying, that they celebrated, back in Rome, and they did it for, quote unquote Halloween.
Freaky bastards.
Right.
You think you bobbing? You think you in the Roman Catholic Church think you trying to get an apple out the thing? That priest is thinking of other things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, good night. Yikes. Any more comments up?
Live, sir.
Okay, come. All right, we're gonna go into another tradition. Now we just showed you how the Celts took over this tradition, but the Celts were nothing but so-called Edomites who were living in Ireland, or not so-called Edomite, but it was a different amount of people who were living in Ireland who were underneath the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? Who was still taking like Christianity and all these traditions got incorporated with it, and so. All of these Halloween kind of started from the Roman Empire with their traditions, and they just combined it with the Celts traditions, and they made what we call today so-called Halloween. All right, but I'm gonna keep reading. This is also in the history of Halloween. All Saints Day, on May 13, 609 A.D., Pope Boniface the Sixth dedicated the Pantheon in Rome in honor of all Christian martyrs, and the Catholic feast of All Martyrs' Day was established in the Western Church. Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs, and moved the observation from May 13th to November the 1st. By the 9th century, the influence of the Christianity had spread into the Celtic lands, where it gradually blended with the supplanted oldest Celtic rites. In 1000 AD, the church made November 2nd All Souls Day, a day to honor the dead. It's widely believed today that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic Festival of the Dead, the Celtic Festival of the Dead, with a related church-sanctioned holiday. Good night. So the church, like all churches, they want to please the people.
Right.
You know, like your church today. They don't like your church today, man. Like you think that concert in that church today is really, for God? That concert in that church is for the people. That concert in the church is for the people. Those flowers are for the sisters. That music is for the women. And God knows what else is inside that church. But they also did the same thing back then too. They also did the same thing. The so-called Roman Catholic Church, who was influenced by Christianity, they decided to go ahead and replace the Celtic Festival of the Dead with a related church sanctioned, they decided to change it and make it All Souls Day, which was a day to honor the dead. All right, it said it's widely believed today that the church was attempting to replace the Celtic Festival of the Dead with the related church-sanctioned holiday. All Souls Day was celebrated similarly to the Samhain with big bonfires, parades, and dressing up in costume as saints and angels and devils. The All Saints Day celebration was also called All Hallows, or Hallowmas, from the Middle English Alla Hallamesse, meaning All Saints Day. And the night before it, the traditional night of Samhain in the Celtic religion began to be called All Hallows Eve, and eventually Halloween. So this whole thing of Halloween was just a bunch of paganism to worship the dead, worship another god, worship another day. So what you do today with your children is paganism. It's paganism. And this is something that we should not be doing in the Black, Latino, Native Indian community. You think you're doing a good thing by dressing your kid up and teaching them how to be a monster, and they're going to really grow up one day and become a real monster. That's what's going to happen. You're going to teach your children how to accept gifts from people, candy. And ain't that what people say all the time? Ain't that what they say? What the people say? Don't take candy from a stranger. But on Halloween, you send your children out there to take candy from a stranger. Do you see the confusion that might cause upon a child? Or how much a hypocrite you are if you tell your kids not to take candy from a stranger, but then you take them out on Halloween and then they take candy from a stranger? Do you understand how stupid it is? How dumb you are for believing and following this paganism tradition? Here you are telling your kids, don't take candy from a stranger because they might hurt you. But then you turn around on October the 31st and dress your kids up and take them to go get candy from a stranger. You think about it. Your kids feel safe. They're like, hey, mom and daddy's here. They're taking me to take candy from a stranger. So it shouldn't be no problem when, the child thinks in their mind, if I see somebody else, another adult want to give me candy, I should be able to take their candy too. When you shouldn't even be letting your kids celebrate Halloween. You shouldn't be dressing up as goons and goblins and taking them to places to go get candy, man. And it's so wicked. Let me tell you how much of it is these churches are so wicked, man. Because we just read and showed you that this is a paganism tradition. But your churches also do it. What they do with the churches now, they got something called trunk and treat, where the kids get to walk around in the church parking lot dressed up as whatever they want to be and get candy out the trunks of everybody. And what do they say? This is more safer for the kids. And the whole time they think that's being safe for the kids, and the kids still getting raped, molested inside the church. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's like it. All right. It said Halloween comes to America. The celebration of Halloween was extremely limited in the colony of New England because of the rigid protest belief systems there. Halloween was much more common in Maryland and in the southern colonies. As beliefs and costumes, as the beliefs and customs of different European ethnic groups and the American Indians meshed, a distinctly American version of Halloween began to emerge. The first celebration included play parties, which were public events held to celebrate the harvest. Neighbors would share stories of the dead, tell each other's fortunes, and dance and sing. It says, colonial Halloween festivals also featured the telling of ghost stories and mischief making of all kinds. But by the middle of the 19th century, annual autumn festivals were coming, but Halloween was not yet celebrated everywhere in the country. And in the second half of the 19th century, America was flooded with these new immigrants. These new immigrants, especially the million of Irish fleeing the Irish potato famine, helped to popularize the celebration of Halloween nationality. So those Irish that came from Ireland, they helped push Halloween. They helped to push Halloween because this was a festival that was celebrated heavily in their land. All right. Let's get into some history of trick-or-treating also. All right, it says, history of trick-or-treating. Borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go house to house asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick-or-treat tradition. Young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors. Good night. I'm going to read this again for you freak nasties out there who going to dress up for Halloween. So like it. It says, young women believe that on Halloween, they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn and apple parings or mirrors. In the late 1800s, there was a move in America to mold Halloween into a holiday more about community and neighborhood get-togethers than ghost pranks and witchcraft. At the turn of the century, Halloween parties for both children and adults became the most common way to celebrate the day. Parties focused on games, foods of the season, and festival costumes. Parents were encouraged by newspaper and community leaders to take anything frightening or grocerous out of the Halloween celebration. Because of these efforts, Halloween lost most of its superstitious and religious overtones by the beginning of the 20th century. It says Halloween parties by the 1920s and the 1930s, Halloween had become a secular but community-centered holiday, with parades and town-wide Halloween parties as the featured entertainment. Despite the best efforts of many schools and communities, vandalism began to plague some celebrations in many communities during this time. By the 1950s, town leaders had successfully limited vandalism, and Halloween had evolved into a holiday directed mainly at the young. Due to the high numbers of young children during the 50s baby boom, parties moved from town civic centers into classrooms or home, where they could be more easily accommodated. Good night. So these bastards stopped having... They stopped doing the Halloween parties at the civic centers and big places because people were having sex. Like, that girl coming there dressed like a nurse or whatever she want to be, they in there having sex and they had a baby boom. So they said the parties moved from the civic centers and they start having them in classrooms or at houses. It makes sense. It says between the 1920 and the 1950s, the centuries-old practice of trick-or-treating was also revived. Trick-or-treating was relatively inexpensive way for an entire community to share the Halloween celebration. And in theory, families could also prevent tricks from being played on them by providing the neighborhood children with small treats. Thus, a new American tradition was born, and it has continued to grow. Today, America spends an estimated $6 billion annually on Halloween, making it the country's second largest commercial holiday after Christmas. Goddamn. That niggas out there spending all this money on that raggedy costume, especially those cheap costumes. The lines at Dollar Tree be out the door. You know, you got that damn, the costume, the mask the kid puts on smells like so much plastic. The child pass out, you dragging him on Halloween.
Right.
Damn fumes from the plastic mask don't make the child pass out. You just drag him, get up, baby, let's go get this candy. Mama, I'm dizzy. Come on now, you acting stupid. Well, people spend $6 billion on Halloween. Just on Halloween. Candy, decorations, all type of stuff. But I didn't see a lot of decorations this year.
Right.
Most of the coronavirus put an end to that. They don't want nobody knocking at their door. And you're going to see a bowl full of candy out there, and the bowl going to be gone when you come out there. Good night. It's like, it's all right if I get some more of the strong drink out.
Yeah. Want ginger ale mixed with it?
Yeah, I got some right here.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all out here celebrating Halloween. Good night.
You want a little bit more than that? Or still?
Yeah, that should be too hot. Yeah, most definitely too hot. Y'all out here celebrating Halloween thinking y'all doing something that's new. When this whole tradition comes from the ancient Romans and the Celts. If we could, is it too hot if we get that scripture up?
Yeah, sir. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Oh, who?
O house of Israel.
Oh, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Hear what the Most High has to say to you. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Do what?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
That's what we have to understand. We are not supposed to learn the way of the heathen. This tradition of Halloween, which we celebrate, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, is a tradition that was started by heathens. You out here with your children, letting them dress up and go out here, and you think it's really having a good time, and you're like, yeah, the kids having a good time, they enjoying themselves. It sounds good. It looks like it could be very fun for the kids. But the whole time, man, the only thing you're doing is teaching your children how to be, how to welcome strangers into their life and accept heathen traditions and customs, man. It's horrible, man. You see the little precious babies out there, the kids, they out there dressed up in their costumes. You just like, damn, these kids don't even know. And it's even so bad now that the adults doing it. I think I done seen so many tons of black people going to celebrate Halloween parties. Gonna dress up, get stupid wasted, and have sex with Freddy Krueger on Halloween. Gonna have sex with Michael Myers on Halloween.
Right.
Like, girl, yeah, I had sex with Michael Myers. He was naked with his mask on. You don't even know who the hell it is. So, I'm gonna see, can I send you this article up? This is why we have to learn the scriptures, man, when it says, learn not the way of the heathen, man. Stop trying to follow these people, man. Stop trying to do what they do. Just because they do it, don't mean you gotta do it, man. I'm trying Let's see how I can send this to you. You can read that scripture again, huh?
Yeah, sir. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathens.
Learn not the way of the heathens, man. Don't be out here letting your children dress up as monsters, man, as witches, and reading them all type of ghost stories, because this is the way of the heathens, man. If we could, I'm going to get 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 3 also. I'm going to read you another article also, man. This is one I really want to share to you right here.
You said 2 Thessalonians 3?
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. I'm gonna share this other article with you too. I don't know if you got it up.
You sent through messenger, son?
Yeah. Damn, son, erase my messenger. If it didn't come, I'll get it if it didn't come to you. My phone be tripping. All right. You can get that scripture up.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
Let no man deceive you by any means. Because we have been deceived, which means we have been lied to in thinking that Halloween is something just for the kids. It's not a big deal, especially in the church. Good night. Me and the Red rode by a location, and we just seen a church packed with people. I'm talking about packed to the...
Right.
It was stupid. It was so bad that they was selling pumpkins at the damn church.
Yikes.
I'm like, God. I'm like, man, what the hell? I was like, don't they understand that? Do they even know? That goes to show you that the Christian churches are the house of Satan, man. All of them. I bet right now if you go to Redemption, if it's still open, I don't know if Redemption's open, but if it's still open, they are going to have the biggest Halloween party in Greenville.
Right.
They're going to let all your kids come. They're going to be able to dress up. They're going to probably have it in the gym like most churches do.
Yikes.
They're going to have it in the gym. And You better pray to the Most High Pastor don't sneak one of them little kids, them little girls off, or one of them little boys off. He gonna really try to get them some candy. And they gonna just continue to lie to us, man. We ain't got no comments in there, do we?
Lie, sir.
You got it out. The scripture says what?
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Right.
For that day shall come, except there come a falling away first.
All right. Okay. Come, most high in Christ. It still didn't come to you, did it?
It's not even going to check right now. I don't think it came though.
Okay, come. We're gonna get 1 Corinthians chapter verse 10 and 20 also, and I'll go ahead and read it.
First Corinthians 10, verse 20, sir.
Come. And it's like your phone still don't hook up to the TV, do it?
It does.
Okay, come. I was gonna see can we go to YouTube and get While Mardoc is getting that, I'm gonna read to you something else, another article that we have, man.
Which one we look up, sir?
Child abduction and child abduction numbers, 2021. All right, this is from the New York Post, man. It says Halloween crime reports show the holiday lives up to its scary reputation. It says, turns out this holiday really lives up to its sinister reputation. It is not just ghouls, goblins, and ghosts New Yorkers need to fear on All Hallows Eve, but reports of real mischief such as pickpockets, harassments, and assaults surge on October 31st, according to a Post analyst of crime reports from the past 5 Halloweens. They said the NYPD logged 1,413 crime reports on the holiday last year, 14% more than 1,241 crimes reported on the average day in 2018. Only 21 days in 2018 saw more crime reports than Halloween, when there were 277 cases on petty theft and 244 harassment reports, the top 2 reported crimes, followed by assault and criminal mischief, which includes crimes such as damaging graves and graffiti. There were no murders and no one was rape reported. It says, fashion writer turned rapist Peter Branstad dressed as a fireman on Halloween 2005 to coax his way into his female co-worker's Chelsea's apartment. God damn, Salaki. Telling you, man, this Halloween is. So you had one guy, this dude dresses up as a fireman just to break into his co-worker's apartment. Let me keep reading and find out what he did to his co-worker Chelsea. It says, once inside, he held her hostage while molesting her for 13 hours. All to get revenge on a ex-girlfriend. Brunstein fled to Memphis and was featured on America's Most Wanted 5 times before cops caught him in December that year trying to stab himself in the throat. It says exactly 12 years later on Halloween 2017, alleged terrorist Safuli Sapovi drove a truck onto a crowded West Side Highway's bike path, killing 8. It's all on Halloween. It says, a man wearing a ghost face mask from the movie Scream reportedly fired at a crowd on a Washington Heights sidewalk just after 2 a.m. on Halloween night last year, hitting 2 victims. The shooting is among a series of violent events that turned Halloween 2018 into a night of mayhem. It says 5 others were reportedly shot earlier in the day in 4 boroughs, and 3 were stabbed. One by a man in a red light up mask. It says Halloween is a celebration of the dark side, a time when we expect almost accept petty crimes and mischievous acting out. Some forensic psychologist Barbara Curran, the defense shrink for serial killer Joel Rifkin, mostly it acts as a pressure value that allows. Damn. It says mostly as it acts as a pressure value that allows repressed people to release some of their pent up anger and hostility. Now, we're just trying to warn you, man. You don't have to listen to us. You can always go out there on Halloween with your kids and, celebrate, do whatever you want to do, and then go home and find out that your kids' candy got a blade in it. It was a lot of reports one year of where children were getting candy from different people, and they were finding razor blades, like little small needles inside the candy. Like, good night. Like, you think your child about to eat a little fun-sized Snicker bar, they bite into the candy bar, and it is a needle in the inside of it.
Right.
Or it's injected with some type of drug.
Right.
You got it, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Like a lot of those, a lot of these weirdos now, they just weird, man. Like it's just so crazy, man. Like on this quote unquote Halloween, man. Like it's just people put pills and candies and some of them. What was them candies that's are they called Smarties?
Oh man,
The ones that actually look like pills.
people were really using pills.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like people will swap those out and carve it to the point where it looked just like that, and little kids popping mollies, man. It's crazy.
Kids popping Molly and sweating.
Yup.
You think they don't eat a Smartie, but they don't pop the pill.
Right, sir.
And you think it's safe on Halloween. This is what happens when you allow paganism to get into your life. You believe anything. You let your kids celebrate it and everything. And guess what happens when you start to teach your children? Like, it's like people are so much of a hypocrite because they'll tell their kids not to take candy from a stranger.
Right.
If somebody walk up to you trying to get some candy, what do you say? You say no. And then on October the 31st, come on, y'all, let's go get some candy. Then the parent takes them out to get the candy. That child is confused. Because that child listens to what the parent says. When you say don't take candy from a stranger, and then you take them out and you tell them, go ahead, baby, go knock on the door and get the candy. They don't know whose house this is.
Exactly.
They knock on the door. Trick or treat. Oh, let me get y'all kids some candy. You don't know what the hell they giving your kids. You think all them parents really checking all that candy? You think the kids really wait until they get home to get the candy checked? They babies, they kids.
Right.
They're gonna reach in the bag, open the candy, and eat it. And God forbid that it's something wrong with the candy, man. Like, you're teaching your kids how to be comfortable while going to strangers to get candy, while at the same time telling them not to get candy from a stranger. What happens when you got a child who goes celebrate Halloween, who's used to getting candy from a stranger? You got a child who's been celebrating Halloween for what, their whole life? And then one day somebody walks up, hey, y'all guys want some candy? What they gonna say? Yeah, we want some candy. And they gonna get the candy, and guess what's gonna happen? Your child gonna end up missing, man. And that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you about the abduction rate that happens on Halloween. On how many kids get snatched up. They don't want to tell you about it because if they do, guess what happens? It starts to mess with a $6 billion empire.
Yeah.
If you make, listen, would you want somebody to bother you if you making $6 billion in 1 month? Damn, Mario, come on, Mario. That's like, you made $6 billion in 1 month. You want the people from the radio, the TV shows, the news station, the post, those videos about children being kidnapped on Halloween. Hell no. Hey, keep that off. Keep that off the air. You can put it in the newspaper, but just don't publish it on the news.
Yeah.
We're gonna show you some
All I was able to hear was the child abductions.
Okay.
When we look up statistics.
Yeah, that'd be too hard. You gotta give it up for the brothers and sisters in the Isupk, man, who are not keeping any of these heathen traditions, man. We ain't out there letting our kids go out there and go out there and celebrate Halloween and let them walk up to God knows who these people are, man. Yeah, let's see.
So there's got a lot of social experiments and stuff. You know.
Can we go down one?
So like,
You keep going down. You go down one more. Good night, man.
they tripping.
Well, we might be good. John Spags niggas wild. Yeah, we might be good on this then. I might just have to read this article then. Can't find it on here.
I'll keep looking up.
Okay, come. I'm gonna get you an article, man. So this is what people don't realize. This is what they don't realize. And we can keep some of them videos up, because this is tied right into this article right here. All right, it says 23 alarming child abduction statistics 2021. This was published on October the 15th, 2021. And it's a reason why they published it on October the 15th, 2021. Because these people know during Halloween season, it increases more when children are scooped up more. You know what I'm saying? Like, children are being kidnapped at a phenomenal rate here in America. Not only in America, but all around the world. All right. It says, even though it may not seem that way, child abduction statistics show that this type of crime is far from frequent in the U.S. It is even rare when we talk about abduction, meaning a child taken by a stranger. It says, still, we are witness to stressful headlines in newspaper and dramatic daily news that inform us about missing children. We can't deny that child kidnapping is happening every day throughout the world. So these bastards don't even look at it like it's a big deal that children are being kidnapped.
Yeah.
They think since the numbers are so low, it doesn't mean anything. But let's get some number. It says horrific child abduction statistics and facts. It says around 8 million children are reported missing each year worldwide. Read that again for you. 8 million children are reported missing each year worldwide. So it's 8 million children that are missing a year worldwide. All right. It says, as estimated, 2,300 children are reported missing daily in the U.S. So every day in the United States, there's 2,300 children missing, man. This is a result of our kids being vulnerable, man. You know, you got your kids out here just taking candy from strangers. This is why, man, you gotta be. That's why it's good to walk into this truth, man. To walk and be inside of the Isupk and learn this truth, man. Cause we teach our children at small ages, man. Don't talk to this person. Don't do this. Don't trust that person. Don't accept anything from anybody. And what helps us, what helps our children out even more is they don't keep none of these paganism traditions. Like your child celebrating Halloween makes them more vulnerable for a pedophile, man. For somebody that likes to kidnap children. You know what I'm saying? Like think about all the rapists or child molesters who out here celebrating Halloween. It's a time for you to walk around. Like who's gonna stop a child molester for going out on Halloween?
Right.
Somebody gonna be at his door with a gun? You know, they gonna put him in a cage or something like that? Hell no, he gonna put on a costume too and go out there and fondle somebody's child, man. Like Halloween to a real child pedophile is like heaven. You know, all the kids out there walking around with their costumes on. Only thing you gotta do is put on a costume and dance around, and everybody gonna think you a part of the party also. Whole time that man a child molester. So like, let me get that scripture for you. It says,
So 1 Corinthians 10 and 20.
uh,
This one y'all want it?
yeah, Con, you can go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not to God.
Right, because you gotta understand something. That's the history of where Halloween come from. Halloween comes from these heathens worshiping, you know, and sacrificing to their own deities. And it has nothing to do with the Most High. Gotta understand something. Just like we went and showed you the history on this, like the people, the Celtics that lived in Ireland back then, this festival that they celebrated wasn't called Halloween. It was a festival that they celebrated to ward off ghosts and ghouls that were coming and destroying their crops. So what they would do was they would, you know, burn fires and wear masks with animal faces and all type of stuff, you know, as a representation to worship their deities and keep away any type of bad negativity or any ghosts or ghouls, keep them away from their crops and everything. But now our people do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the Most High told us, he said, but I say these things. These Gentiles, they sacrifice, you know, they sacrifice to devils and not to the Most High. It's like it. Come.
And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils.
You should what?
And I would not that ye have fellowship with devils.
You should not have fellowships with devils, man. That's what we got to understand also. You do not need to be fellowshipping with these devils, man. That's what you out here doing. You out here with the devils. You out here walking around and having a good time out here fellowshipping with these evil bastards, man. You know what I'm saying? We just gave you the history on where this tradition comes from, man. This tradition has nothing to do with the Most High God of Israel, man. Nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read some more of this. It says, "You can." I'm gonna go back to this. We gonna hold it right there also. But matter of fact,
Do you mind if I read the next scripture, sir?
come on, you got it.
This is verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord.
You cannot what?
You cannot drink the cup of the Lord.
Right.
And the cup of the devils.
Right. You can't do both. You can't. And that's the hypocrisy that's going on inside these churches, man.
Right.
You know, these churches they claim that they're drinking from the cup of God, but then at the same time you turn around drinking from the cup of the devil, man. You in the church, we believe in God, but then you turn around and celebrate Halloween in the church, which is clearly a day about the dead and paganism. You can't do both. You can't drink from both cups. The cup that Christ has is It's very excellent. The cup the devil had is very destructive. You can't have both. You got to choose one. Any more on that scripture?
Sir. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table.
You cannot what?
You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table.
You can't be partakers of the Most High's table. Go ahead.
And of the tables of devils.
And of the tables of devils. So you can't sit down at the Most High's table and be like, I'm a righteous man. We a righteous family. Ain't that right, Jessica? Yeah, we're a righteous family. But then turn around and dress your kids up as Batman. You know, the kids, they like to make the kids all the superheroes. Yikes. The worst I seen was a black child dressed up as Captain America. It hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. Truly. Or the black kid dressed as Batman, Superman, Aquaman. Nobody don't want to be the black man. Nobody wants to be the black man. Nobody wants to be the black man. But everybody want to be Batman. Any more on that scripture? Okay, Connor, you can read that again from the top up.
So this is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God.
Right. This whole tradition of Halloween is a sacrifice to devils, man. All to devils and not to the Most High. Go ahead.
And I would not that ye have fellowship with devils.
Don't be fellowshipping with these devils, man. Because this whole tradition of Halloween came from these devils, man. The Irish, the so-called Edomite oppressors. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord.
You cannot what?
Drink the cup of the Lord.
Okay.
And the cup of devils.
You can't do both, man. That's what we trying to get you Christians to understand. You can't do both. You can't serve the Most High and try to serve these devils out here, man. The Most High is not going to have it. That's why when you out here celebrating Halloween, man, you got to realize something. You're taking a chance with your children's lives. Your own lives.
Right.
You know, you let them babies get out there and walk to different random houses and get candy. You don't know who they're getting candy from. You don't know who's watching you. Watching your family, watching your kids, watching every move you make.
So if I could too.
You got it.
Like a lot of burglaries happen, you know, like around this time as well too. Because of course a lot of people know that you know that they're taking kids out for trick or treating, and man, you know they feel like this is the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? To just rob somebody. And, people be scoping out houses and scoping out apartment complexes for the whole year. You know what I'm saying? Watch people take brand new TVs in. You know what I'm saying? Brand new clothes and all that, and you're like, man, like this is the perfect opportunity, man, for me to rob them. You know what I'm saying? But definitely big ups to Commander General, all the generals, captains, man. You know what I'm saying? For us, you know what I'm saying, being able to learn this truth, man. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to worry about that happening. You know what I'm saying? On that particular day, because we're not double dipping.
Right.
You understand? Like we're not trying to serve the Lord and then also be partakers of the devil. You understand? We are full-fledged, 10 toes deep in this truth, man.
Damn right.
You understand? So like,
all right, give him a hand. He's right. You can't. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to stay on track, man. Have to stay on track. This is not a joke. This is not a game. Come on, you got it up.
Verse 21, ye cannot drink of the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and to the table of devils.
That was it on it? All right, I'm going to keep reading this article. Because we're going to show you what you're supposed to be doing as a parent. What you're supposed to be doing as a parent. You know what I'm saying? If you could, Could you give me Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6? All right, I'm going to keep reading this article also about the horrific child abduction statistics and facts. All right, it reads, it says, around 8 million children are reported missing each year worldwide. The estimated 2,300 children are reported missing daily in the U.S. Teenagers are the most common age group of abductions. Less than 1% of missing children get taken by strangers. More than 90% of abductions are indeed one of the parents. A child is reported missing every 2 minutes in Europe. All right, so there are 3 types of child kidnapping. It says 1, a stranger takes a child for criminal purpose, sexual assaults, and ransoms. All right. It says around 8 million children are reported missing each year worldwide. Still, missing children statistics do have a brighter side as well. Good night. All right, it says in 2020, almost 400,000 juveniles got abducted in the U.S. When it comes to child abduction statistics in 2020, there were exactly 1,780 and 747 male juveniles kidnapping cases. Especially the number of abducted girls is higher. 200,009, 375 reported cases. Way fewer adults were missing, less than 160,000 people. Good night, man. Good night. We got any videos up there? Okay, you talk. Select. Let me see. Yeah, go to 7 kidnappings.
Just right here.
Okay.
Every day we're surrounded by cameras. At the grocery store, on street corners, just to name a couple. Whether you're a fan of all the cameras or not, they do manage to catch some of the most chilling footage and help in solving crimes that may otherwise. There are 7 attempted kidnappings, a couple of which were successful, all caught on tape. Here we see a man who would soon be known as Craig Bonello, walking nervously around a Dollar General store. Shockingly, he grabs a 13-year-old teen who is shopping with her mother and attempts to drag her out the front door. The mother fights back and stops the attempted kidnapping.
That's in the Dollar General. We can pause that.
CCTV footage.
That's in a Dollar General. Like, these people, man, I'm telling you, man, a lot of people might not think that Halloween has a lot to do with this, but it does, man.
Right.
Like, your children are vulnerable. They're not paying attention. And this breeds, this type of behavior that comes from Halloween, it breeds people like this, man. Who some of them can't wait to Halloween anymore. They can't wait to Halloween to kidnap your children. A lot of them can't wait. They just say, forget it. Halloween ain't coming quick enough.
Right.
You think just because when Halloween's over, that pedophile's still not out there? That child abductor, they still not out there? Halloween is just one of those days where they get to really flourish and do what they want to do. Tons of people. Like, you can only imagine how many. Like, did they even have Halloween last year?
I'm not for certain. To be honest, I have no idea.
I'm not sure. We're not sure if they had Halloween this year, but you can only imagine how Halloween is gonna be this year since everybody's back able to be out, and they probably gonna do it on Saturday.
Right.
Good night. We can go ahead up.
Released by police shows an older man attempting to lure a child from his mother at a shopping mall.
Just tried to take
Here
it.
we see surveillance footage that has captured a man in Washington carrying a child and running. The children had been left under the supervision of their babysitter by their father, but on that day were playing alone in the park in their town. The man approached the 3 children and ripped the 22-month-old from his stroller. He was chased by the infant's sister and brother, and it was the sister's screams that hampered his kidnapping attempt. He dropped the child in a vacant lot and continued running.
Good night.
This is footage of how a kidnapping came to an end. A man forced a woman at gunpoint into her car after beating her and drove off. At a stoplight, she mouthed, "Help me," to 2 teenagers in the car next to them, to which the teenagers dialed 911. The teenagers trailed the car for miles until the police arrived. You can see the woman is so thankful she gets out of the car and hugs a police officer. Charles Atkins Lewis Jr. was charged with aggravated kidnapping and was placed on $50,000 bail.
He still got out. They got him out nice and peaceful.
We see a young mother walking into a mobile phone store. She was holding her baby while her 4-year-old daughter played with a candy machine by the door. Panic and shock then ensues when a man quickly reaches inside, jerking the girl from the store and fleeing. The man is subdued shortly after by bystanders and the girl returned to her mother. After the incident, the woman mentioned to the store owner that she had noticed a strange man watching her and her family very closely when she entered the store, but didn't think he would follow her. The man was spotted immediately after the incident, sitting in the middle of the street, laughing before running away. A man by the name Terry Ransom was later arrested for the crime. This footage is taken from a security camera at an apartment complex. The video shows a man walking toward the camera and a young 7-year-old girl exiting her apartment. The man then snatches the girl after she refused to come to him when asked. A few feet later, she kicks free of his arms, and the man runs away. Police were called by the mother, and they are still looking for the person responsible.
Screaming, and I ran outside to see what was wrong with her, and I asked her, she said someone tried to snatch her.
Tabitha Bridges says it happened almost right in
It's
front
like
of her
pause
eyes.
that Mark. Doc. You see what's so sad about that? Sister by herself.
Right, yep. Yep.
By herself, man. You got it, Mardagi.
Sitting on a stairwell in her apartment building while her 7-year-old daughter and some other children played outside.
She said he asked her to come here and she said no. So he grabbed her and tried to run off with her and she kicked out his arms.
This is some of the last footage of Cherish Periwinkle. Cherish was abducted from Walmart and then raped and killed by convicted sex offender Donald Smith, who you can see in the video. If you don't know the full story of this little girl and what happened to her, I've included a link that you can take a look at in the description. Thanks for watching, guys.
We could, you got Proverbs 22:6.
Book of Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way that when he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
That's what we have to realize, man. The reason why a lot of this is happening with these children, because they're not being trained, man. They're not being trained in the right way. Imagine if all of these kids that you've seen abducted, especially these Israelite children, imagine if all of these Israelite children that was on these videos and all these people knew the laws, statutes, and commandments, man, and knew not to worship these heathens and celebrate their traditions like Halloween. None of these kids would be walking with these bastards, man. Like a majority of the kids that see strangers that walk up to them, they usually think that they're going to get something. They usually think the person is going to present something to them, a gift, candy, toys, because America has trained our children how to embrace criminals like this, man. Child molesters and rapists, man. Just like that last video, why do you think that little girl, he wasn't even holding her hand.
He wasn't.
She just came with him. Hey, I got something for you. You do? Walk right behind him. Because America teaches your children how to be vulnerable, man. Always wanting something. Like the general said something heavy today in Let the Hebrews Speak. He said, parents are working so much these days. He said that you can't even raise your children. He said social media is raising your children. You got social, and it's so true because people are not able to train their children up in the way that they're supposed to go, man. Like if your children are being raised by social media, you're going to continue to have things like this happen. Why do you think the rate of abductions that happen in America is predominantly teenager children and small children? Because those teenagers, like they might be 12 now, maybe 13 now, 14 now. You gotta understand, 10 years ago, they were what? 2, 3, 4, 5? Guarantee you their parents were taking them trick-or-treating, raising them a certain type of way, and then the internet stepped in and started raising your children, man. Teaching your children how to be more vulnerable. And these kids these days, good night. These kids these days, it's worse, man. It is horrible. Like, it is so horrible, man. You wouldn't even think it'd be this bad, but it is horrible, man. Like, the children are being raised by social media, and they're just vulnerable and they accept anything. And these young teenagers out here, man, they getting abducted, man. Like, you go to Walmart, all on that post, they got that poster with all the missing children on there, and all of those be small children and teenagers, man. Because our children are not being trained up in the way that they're supposed to go, man. They're supposed to be trained up and keep learning the commandments. And majority of them children that you see in that poster, they be Black, Latino, Native Indian children, man. Who are vulnerable and easy persuaded by whoever got something. That's the reason why America does us the way they do it. They starve us out, teach our kids how to be vulnerable, how to accept everything, celebrate this tradition, celebrate that, receive candy from anybody. Like, y'all don't even understand how much Halloween affects a child, man. That whole concept of teaching your children how to go to strangers and receive things, how that affects them in their life. You got to understand. Imagine if you take a child who's 2 years old, you raise them up and let them celebrate Halloween all the way till they get to 12, or let's just say 10 or 11. So they celebrate that till they get 11 years old. Now they have been accustomed to receiving candy from strangers. What else you think they'll receive from a stranger if they're going to take candy from them?
Right.
What else you think they're going to receive? You don't think they'll take $50? Xbox game, cell phone, shoes. You don't think they're going to take that? They are going to take it, because guess what? They were taking candy from a stranger at 2 years old, man.
Right.
At 3 years old. So now, it ain't going to be nothing for them to go, you know what? I don't took candy my whole life. What? I could take this cell phone. It ain't going to hurt me. And next thing you know, you got a missing child's case. You see it all the time. You ain't got to believe us. You ain't got to believe the UPK. You ain't got to believe it. We just telling you the hard truth, man. The reason why a lot of these kids get abducted is because they have been trained to accept all of these gifts and things from people. They have been trained to, to be around strangers. There's nothing wrong with it. So then they get abducted, man. Like, people don't understand the whole psychology behind Halloween. It is a paganism tradition that goes against the Most High. And it teaches your children how to embrace strangers, man. Damn. Imagine if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians didn't celebrate Halloween. If we didn't allow our kids to go out there and get candy from complete strangers. Think about how different we would be as a nation of people. Your kids would be more cautious when it comes to things. Hey, you want some candy? I don't want no candy from you. I don't even know you. Get away from me. It's just candy. Nah, kids gonna be up on game. Why are we taking candy from random people? We never did this before. But the only reason we do it now because America has taught us how to do these things, man. America has trained blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians how to embrace strangers. And when you embrace a stranger, guess what? You don't know nothing about him or her. Nothing. It was anything else on that scripture?
Sir.
Okay, Khan, if we could, give me Isaiah chapter 54, verse 13, if you could, Baruch Shah.
You said verse 13?
Yep, Khan, Isaiah 54 and 13.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 54, verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord.
What?
And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord.
This is what blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians children should be taught. You're supposed to train your children up in the way they should go, but you're also supposed to teach the children of the Most High, man. And the Most High tells us not to keep these traditions of these heathens, man. So imagine if our kids weren't celebrating Halloween, what type of strength they would have, man. Your kids wouldn't even know nothing about when. Like, the kids here in the UPK, they are very different, man. Like, I wish I could have been how all of these children are now in the UPK, man. Like, you can't just tell them anything and they gonna believe it.
Right.
You can't. Parents are teaching them the right way and what's wrong and what to do and what not to do. So when some clown come up to them, hey, you want some candy? Kids walk off. Yell if they have to. Scream if they have to. Even defend themselves if they have to.
Right.
Even our children. Can you read it again up?
Sir. Book of Isaiah chapter 54. 54, verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Right, that's where you're going to get peace from these children, man. You're going to get peace. You're going to be peace of thy children, man. When your children start learning the ways of the Most High, they're going to stay away from people. They are not going to do the things that go against the Most High God of Israel, man. I'm trying to think. You can read it again, huh?
Sir. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Damn right. Great will be the peace of thy children, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it. Is it any more video? That was it on that video right there? All right, let me get 1 John chapter 5, verse 21, Baba Shah.
Like you said, 1 John chapter.
No, it's like it. Nah, you too hard on that. I had another scripture. Let me get some more information for you, man. Let me get some more. This is from that article also. It says, abducted children often come from low-income households. It says children who get abducted very often come from low-income families. In addition, their parents are often divorced or separated. This fact has a psychological background to it. Namely, by living in harsh conditions, children get traumatized at an early age and become easy targets to predators. Now, any wise man or would understand who this is talking about. Who is it? Anybody in the class tonight?
A few people.
Anybody in the chat? What people are predominantly poor in America and are in our low income families? Nobody probably still ain't answer yet,
Sir.
Okay, Khan. The majority of these people who come from low income households are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man.
Right.
And these people who are predators prey on that. Like I said, they know we're poor. So they know if they spend a little money buying you a nice little drink or something like that, or hey, I got this PS5 over here, you want it? You're gonna fall for it. You're a poor child. You come from a low income household. And your parents separated. So you become a target by some sexual disgusting bastard who wants to molest you or rape you and run off of you and try to kill you. Very disgusting, man. All right, so let me get some more on that article. It says children who got abducted very often come from low-income families. In addition, their parents are often divorced or separated. And like I said, man, this devil, this oppressor knows how to destroy us, man. He knows by separating us and divorcing us that it's going to destroy the children. That's why, man, it's sad when I see a sister who says, I don't need a man. I don't need no man. I ain't got to have nobody to lead me. When this is a fact that parents that are often divorced or separated play a big part in child abduction. All right, let me keep reading. It says, this fact has a psychological background to it, namely, by living in harsh conditions, children get traumatized at an early age and become easy targets to be predators. Like, man, they prey on us at our downfall, man.
Right.
Like, these bastards out here, man, that's why, man, it's so sad, man. These people are always watching to see what's going on, man. They know you be poor. They know you don't have anything. And days like Halloween is just, like, perfect for them. They love it. Damn. Salaki, I'm going to get one more scripture. Let me get Isaiah 54:13 again.
Come. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 13. And then all thy children shall be taught of the Lord.
Right, all thy children should be taught of the Lord, man. That's what we have to do first. Even though we're poor, you still want to teach your children the way of the Most High, man. Teach them that, man. It's going to be very beneficial for them knowing the way of the Most High, man. Even though we're poor, teaching your kids on what's going to happen to the nation of Israel when we get out of this hell is very beneficial for them. It gives them something to hold on to, man. It helps to build them up rather than being weak and depressed because they don't have anything to turn to. But here in the UPK, you always got something to turn to, man.
Right.
You got it up.
Sir. And great shall be the peace of thy children.
Right. And I'm going to get Proverbs 22:6.
Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Damn right. Teach these children right, man. But that, you got anything, Murder?
Yeah, you can.
I'm going to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Maradaki.
Isupk security announcements. We are the Isupk, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to. He or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can read about this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verses 21, and Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, gives to the church department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offer for priests not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation. We have the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. The 25th day of the 9th month by space of 8 days. The Sunday, the 28th of November 2021 for 8 days. You can read about this in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verses 52 through 61. Remind occupant Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boot shirts, pants, headband, scarf. With that, shalom.